Hello, everybody. Welcome to my new trade recap of last week. So I had a plus 2% week. So I will go over it. So the first trade, NZDCHF on the weekly. What can I see on the weekly? We are clearly bearish on the weekly. If I take the weekly major driver, this was a previous high, low, high, lower low. So we had that clear major bearish W. So if I can split that in a smaller bearish W, that is this one. So you have here the first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg, and then you have here the same lows, which we could have the same highs in a bearish market, but we didn't do that. We made here kind of triple bottom for potentially more upside momentum this upcoming week to potentially have that same low, same highs here. But what I wanted to see is, okay, I was looking at these weekly lows here, and the banks and institutes like to take some liquidity at this weekly lows wicks region. So if we touch under such kind of weekly lows wicks, then there is liquidity enough for the banks to take along. So which we had here. So I went to the daily, and then what I saw on the daily, we were still bearish. On the daily, we had here this high, low, high, lower, low. So we were clearly bearish. So I went to the 4-hour after that because I wanted to see if the daily also could reach my daily TP, which it could because I had 4% to my daily previous structure zone here where the ICs, where there's a lot of resistance, support, resistance here, which we had. So I wanted to take it till the daily TP, previous structure highs, and then here's some 4-hour TP at the lowest body of that IC of the daily. So I went to the 4-hour then, and what I saw was I want to see a pattern. So we had here our previous low, we had our high, lower low. So when we close above that previous low here for our reverse point, then I wanted to take the limit at us for our reverse point, even if we had a wick that are still in the same lows, because normally I can see this as a high, this is a low, but in this case, in this pattern, in this weekly liquidity zones patterns, I will just see this as just a 4-hour reverse point thing here to take along. So I took it after we had that 4-hour bullish candle closing above that 4-hour reverse point. Then I had one candle in between, the second one, and then we touched it with the third candle, and then we were in the trade, took some partials at the 4-hour TP and a daily TP here also. So it was a trade around 3.5%, 3.67%. So a very nice trade. Then AUDCAD on the weekly. What can you see on the weekly chart? You can see that we are major bearish. So we had here our bearish W that still needed to complete because this is not a clear break because the wicks couldn't break here. So that's why I went impulsively to the downside because the wicks didn't broke from these highs, as you can see. So we can still touch this weekly minus 27 fib completion. So that's why this is still in play. So that's why I was also looking at that weekly short because we had also our weekly driver with us, weekly pattern, but only the weekly candle close was against us. So that's not a problem. So I went to the daily. And on the daily, what I saw, we had a clear W pattern. So we had our first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg, fake out, bearish W pattern, because the daily candle closes above the daily highs here. This bullish candle close was above that. So we had a weekly bearish W fake out. So I went to the 4-hour to adjust my 4-hour zone here. I adjusted it like this. I took the whole structure from that higher till that higher wick. And what I saw was we had a kind of diesel that we received. So we had our first candle here. Second candle wasn't just touching a diesel, but then we had our second, third, and then the fourth. I could take my limit, and we just were running 1.4%, and then we could go and break even, and then the price went impulsively to the upside, and then yeah, we were break even out. So this was a trade AUDCAD, just followed by the plan. Then Euro AUD on the weekly. This is a same kind of scenario like NZDCHF. So if I go over it, the weekly was clearly bullish because we had our first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg, bullish M. We were coming back till the weekly lows, and then we had an impulsive move till the previous weekly highs, where the liquidity was taken from the banks for potentially a move to the downside to potentially have here some support, because we can have here some support that the banks and institutes will short till this support region here, and then we could go to the upside, or we could go more to the downside. This is also a potential thing. So we were looking for that weekly reverse point where the banks and institutes like to take some liquidity because the wick came above that previous weekly highs wicks. So then I went till the daily, and on the daily you can see that we can potentially make that shoulder 1 here, had shoulder 2 where the price can come back to. So this was the thing I was looking for, that the price could come back to that reverse point, that a reversal pattern here show inverted and shoulders like this. And we had also the trade candle with us, the daily bearish candle close as an indication. So I went to the 4-hour then. And on the 4-hour, what I saw, we had here our previous high, low, higher high. So we need a break of this previous higher, so for our reverse point, and we had it with this candle, this red candle close. So after we closed, I could take my limit after the close, and we were in from this point. And then the trade was a little bit in consolidation here, and we went for around 1.08%, 1.06%, and then when break even, price went up, back down, back up. So it was not that convincing, but it was followed by the plan. It still needs to have some potential correction here that could be made, or yeah, after an impulse we always receive mostly of the time some correction because the sprinter got tired. So this was Euro AUD, then EURNZD, because I was also in my last phases of the FTMO, last days, sorry, and I was in a negative month, so I needed to take some trades to cover that up with 0.5%, of course. So I went to the week long on EURNZD, and what I saw on the weekly on EURNZD was we had our low, high, low, higher high. We had here our major bullish M on the weekly, and if we can look closer, we had here our smaller bullish M on the weekly. First leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg coming back, bullish M here, and back to the upside, and then we can divide it in a smaller one also. Shoulder 1 had shoulder 2, then we have same highs, we expect same lows, which we had. We have a pattern within a pattern, and we did that, and we had also a nice resistance, support, supply demand zone region. That's why we went to the upside from there. So everything was sitting with us, the trends, the patterns, the fib, the candle also, so we could take the long. So I went to the daily, and on the daily what we saw, you can divide this in two things. You can see this as a first leg, second leg, then here third leg. So you have here the bullish M. What I saw was here, you had here our low, high, low, high, lower, low, high, lower, low, and then we went to the upside. So this was my bullish M that I was looking for, but you can also see this as one structure on its own. So this bullish M, within that a smaller bullish M here, as you can see. So I was looking for this smaller bullish M with that IC sitting there, but this one was also red candle. So of course this was also a mistake because this small candle was negative. So of course I needed to do this like this, or so this deceleration is invalid then because the daily zone is above that, or if we touch the daily lows, then it was this zone, not the, I see it there. So this was a trade I could prevent also. And yeah, I took just a diesel then. These 3 candle closes, 1 candle in between this one, and then the 4th candle I was tapped in for potentially more upside momentum till this previous structure lower high, and we went to the downside for around minus 1.5%. So I could leave this trade alone and just not take it. Then GBPCHF. This was a trade followed by the plan. So if we go on the weekly, what can you see on the weekly? On the weekly, we are still majorly bearish. We have this high, this low here, and then you had that impulse, then correction with the trend, and then you could have a breakout because we had here a break of that. We can go to the beginning of correction, of course, but we had our weekly candle with us. We had a fib from the high to the low that was with us still, this major fib here that was with us. We had that weekly bearish candle closed, and we can go after that impulse, find some support here. So this was clear resistance, support, support. Here's some resistance if you look on the daily time frames. So I wanted to look that the price wants to come back to this weekly previous resistance that could become support. So that's why I was looking for a short. And yeah, we had a candle with us, so I went to a daily. And on the daily, you had here that shoulder 1 here, this head, then the shoulder 2 here, because this is for me the high, and this was the low. We didn't have till that daily fib completion from the minus 27, so that's why I went to the upside. And we had here our shoulder 1, and we could take here a trade on. So I went then on the 4 hour. And on the 4 hour, we had a diesel in the form of 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. On the red candle here, already sitting. Then we went just to the upside, and then we got taken out, and then we went straight to our break-even point. But then it was already too late because we went minus 1%. So this was GBPCHF. This was trade followed by a plan. Then gold euro. So this was a trade I normally will not take anymore, but yeah, I had one more day to trade. I took it with a 3% risk entry because I was still in a losing streak. I was still in a losing month. So yeah, that's why I want to trade this gold. So I went to the weekly. And what I saw on the weekly is still bullish. Yeah, you can see low, high. These are the same highs. We can expect same lows. We can expect that, but we have here also this smaller bullish M with us. So we are still bullish on the weekly, but after that impulse, we receive mostly of the time some corrections. So this is in this way we receive some corrections. So we have that weekly bearish candle close with us. So I wanted to look for more downside momentum, and which we had was this major bearish W with that same lows. So we expect same highs. This was a fake out of this highs here of the daily natural W. So I drew my 4-hour zone there, which you can see here. I drew it because this was our close of the 4-hour, highest close, and then I take the highest wick. And you can see we touched it here, and we had then the deceleration. What I did there, then I was also a little bit too late to look on the charts because I was at work and I saw just the candle a little bit closing below. So I just wanted to take the market execution, which closed me in a little bit lower than normally. So that's why I was closing in lower than the diesel here, but still good enough. And yeah, I was running around 2% here. So I took some 1/3 out to be sure, around the 2% region here, 2.2, and then we went back to the upside, and we just got out there because my stop loss was standing a little bit positive that I didn't close negative on that break even then, and we just went out with the spreads and we went back to the downside. So this was my week. a positive week, but yeah, my FTMO is ended right now because I was also in a major drawdown and I just couldn't yeah, take my losses up to the positive point. So that's why I lost now my FTMO of 200k, my first step. So no problem. That's okay. So I hope you liked the video and hopefully I can see you next week. Yeah, so have a nice trading week and see you next week. Bye.